Amit, Thakur, Puneet, Saini, thank you so much for having me here at your hair academy in Mumbai. How are you both?
We're amazing. Thank you so much for
Thank you,
having
and
us.
thank you for having us.
No, it is really an honor for me to be here with you both because we have watched your work in the magic of movies and events and social media for years now. But to meet two masterminds behind the way we see these Bollywood stars is going to be really insightful. So, for anybody who might not have a clue, let's start with both of you individually. Puneet, I'll start with you. Please introduce yourself in the best way you would like to introduce yourself.
Ooh. So, I think I would like to say that I'm someone who is in this position, and this is a position I never thought I would be in because I'm not a trained makeup artist. I have actually done a number of jobs in various outfits. All of them were not, actually, none of them were planned. And I have taken a skill from every place that I worked in and moved on to the next to assist me in the next role. Um, I am a believer in destiny, but obviously, I also believe that you do the best with the cards that are laid out for you. And I think my entire life has been about doing that. So, yeah, that's
Okay,
how.
what we've discovered there is she's very humble because what she was supposed to say is, I do Alia Bhatt's makeup. That's what you were supposed to say. You have been with Alia for 10 years. You've worked with her on some of her biggest movies. You've worked with her on the biggest day of her life, her wedding. And so have you, Amit, worked with her for many years and other people's biggest days of their life, which we'll come to in a moment. Amit, please introduce yourself how you'd like to.
So, for me as well, I got into hair by an accident and it was not planned at all. But I've always been creative, I've been painting, sketching, wanted to design clothes at some point, do photography, all of those kind of things. And got into hair by accident, but I wouldn't exchange it for anything. I love it now. Yeah, that's more or less.
And again, you're being humble. You're not mentioning any of the names you've worked with.
I've gotten the opportunity to work with some of the most amazing people in Bollywood, some people from outside Bollywood, and that's made me grow up a lot as a person, you know.
Let's name drop.
Yeah.
Deepika Padukone,
Deepika, Shraddha,
Katrina,
Alia, Katrina, all the girls more or less.
And all the most powerful women in the country, Mrs. Nita
Mrs.
Ambani.
Ambani, Natasha Poonawalla, all of those people as well.
Right, and you said that you're lucky because you've been given the opportunity, but I would flip this because I've spoken to several stars who want you to do their hair more than anybody else, and they make it very clear that you're the hard person to get hold of because your calendar's so full all the time.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, over the last few years, it's been really amazing because, you know, when your work gets recognized, people start liking what you're doing, and when you have a little bit of a different mindset towards what you bring on screen, what you deliver to people, people want to work with you if you have a fresh take on things. And I believe in having a fresh take on whatever I do. Like even if I'm doing like an old look or anything, I would like to give it my own take.
You know, what I want to really highlight here is that how you two have become trendsetters in your own right. You both have very successful social media pages, and that's really where people see the work you do. Of course, the artists give you credit on their pages as well, but you two have become celebrities in your own right, one could say. How does it feel knowing that your work has such a global impact and influence through the work you do with these movie stars, Puneet?
Actually, I'm somebody who really doesn't think of my social media presence as a presence. It's something I got onto because it was like a necessary evil. And if you look at my page, you'll see, you know, and also my content managers and my managers are always pulling me up for not really posting stuff. I keep forgetting to do that. But I think it's very, what I have really enjoyed watching is how makeup, the trends have changed. Like people are coming into their own. There's a confidence in the way they apply makeup. Also the fact that they are more willing to bare their souls and their faces. So from a space where makeup was used to conceal, it's almost become a space to reveal who you really are, to express who you are. And I've been always a believer in less is more with my personal makeup as well. And even when, you know, I never really thought I would become a makeup artist. I used to be with MAC Cosmetics. I was training manager for India. Even then, I think my style was very similar in makeup. So I I think I longed to see people kind of adopt that method, and now I see that happening a lot. So I think it makes me feel very happy to be one of those people who kind of really was, at the beginning of this trend, especially within this country.
Yeah.
So yeah, I never thought that there would be a time where everyone would actually be seeking or wanting to learn how to do this kind of makeup, which is the no makeup look, and that's what I'm known for. So that's my signature style.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk more about that no makeup look in a moment. But of course, for you, Amit, as well, you are a trendsetter. I mean, apart from uploading photos of yourself on your Instagram page, which you do a lot of. And
But he's a good-looking guy, and he should.
yes, he has. You forget the celebrities and their shoots. You have your full shoots as well. I see.
Absolutely.
And quite often the location is exactly the same as where the celebrity has posed.
No, it's better sometimes.
It's better sometimes. But how does it feel knowing that you are a trendsetter when it comes to your work around hair as well?
I think it's amazing because it all started off promoting what I do, what my work is, and how I look at hair and what's my approach towards hair. But later it moved on to when I started getting like super overwhelming response from people like, we love you, we love your life, we love how you live your life, you're a hairstylist. But it became a little less about what I do as work and a little bit more about they wanted to know who I am and what I do and how I spend my time and my fitness and this and that. So that kind of gave me a little bit of a perspective that people really are getting inspired. These people are sitting in 2-tier, 3-tier cities with, very humble backgrounds, and they don't have much to do or look forward to. So if I'm sitting here in Mumbai, and if my life or anything that I do, which is creating a little bit of what do you call it? Impact, and also like aspirational value for them. I feel amazing about it. I get so many DMs and messages from people saying that looking at you, I started doing this. And looking at you, I started getting into hair. I showed your profile or your life to my mom, and now she's agreed to put me into a hair school, and I want to be a hairstylist. I want to be like you, and I want to do. That's insane. That makes me feel like, oh my God, what am I doing? So that's the kind of impact it has on people.
But that's also part of the ecosystem of Bollywood and how it's evolved. Because even if we look back 15 years ago, let's go to around 2010 time, when social media wasn't really that prevalent, hair and makeup artists were not getting the recognition that they have today. And therefore, you didn't know who was necessarily doing Katrina's makeup or who was doing Alia's hair. Alia wasn't acting 15 years ago, but you didn't know who was doing Deepika's hair. It wasn't really.
I wasn't working 15 years ago.
You weren't, but
I was.
People didn't know who to look at. All they saw was this image of perfection, and actually having pages that you both have, it's given people an access into what it takes or how it's done. Does it feel good knowing that you're allowing people to see a behind the scenes insight into what it really takes to be a Bollywood star today?
Absolutely. I think it's important for people to know what it takes, because I'm not going to talk about people wanting to be actors, but also like a lot of people who want to get into the industry, whether it's for acting or for any other field, they all think that because they see as part of our lives, right? Which is the private jets. They see the traveling to hottest destinations, having the best amount, like parties, everything. They see all of that. So they think that that's what it is, You get into doing somebody's hair, a big star, and you get this life. But it's just not that. That's just 10%. There's 90% behind, which is the real work.
What is that 90%?
The real work is the struggle to crack an amazing look, which will be talked about. It's the struggle to prepare before a shoot or before a film that we do. It's whatever it takes for you to be ready to go on a job every single day and give your 100%. There's no scope for you to give your 90% a day and come back and you'll have the guarantee of that client calling you next day. It might not happen. So there's a lot that goes behind before you go on a shoot so a little bit of the behind the scenes when I'm talking about myself, and I'd share a little bit of the behind the scenes of what happens and where I'm going and how I'm going and how many flights I'm taking and all of that. It does give them a little bit of an impression that it's not just I'm at Met Gala. There's a lot behind that,
It's also given recognition to the technicians, right? In terms of actually, you don't only have to aspire to be the actor or the actress in order to be on a public platform and make a difference. You can be a makeup artist. You will get equal amounts of recognition because when people talk about that look, they will now associate it with you, your brand, your name as well. Have you found that there's a rise in people getting into the industry to become hair and makeup artists because of this rise in access of seeing people like yourselves, Puneet?
Yeah, I think that's always been the case. I think people have always, I mean, of course, when earlier I think they only wanted to be the cricketers or actors. I think people are always aspiring to be in a position of power, fame, money, somewhere where they feel like it's a perception, right? That I'm going to have access, I'm going to have resources, so I'm going to have a better life, right? So now that that trickles down and our stories are in everyone's faces, or perhaps they see the kind of life that we are leading, they think, oh, perhaps maybe I can't be an actor, like you were saying, I can't be a cricketer, but maybe I can be a technician and maybe I can work with a celebrity. So, which is why we get a million calls to assist.
Yeah.
And I think that's an amazing thing that people are inspired and they aspire to be in this space. But I also think, like Amit was also saying, that there's more to it than just the facade or the appearance of what this means for the people. I mean, there's a lot of hard work. Like for me personally, I think there are a few things that people need to keep in mind if they want to actually be a part of this industry. And it's not all glamorous, nothing is earned without hard work, right? Hard work, smart work. So within this profession as well, like whatever kind of technician you are, everyone comes to work. You have to come every day the way you came the first day. I've been a freelancer since 2009, and nothing has changed in my approach to my work. I arrive to work every day the same way that I arrived when I first went to work in 2009.
So let's pick one of the looks that the two of you have worked on together and deconstruct exactly what it takes. Like, for example, Alia Bhatt at the Met Gala in 2024, which was stunning. Apart from the sari being stunning that she wore, which was the Sabyasachi outfit, the hair and the makeup was so perfect in theme, but also with Alia. So why don't you two break down what it takes to look like that? Because I saw so many reels and TikTok videos of people trying to do the Met Gala look. What does it take?
So I'll go back to the space where the day that we actually tried the outfit. We did a little bit of a test that day, but then that day she had come from somewhere and her hair was actually really like very undone and stuff, and it looked like really pretty. And also with Alia, she has beautiful skin, and between her and me, our chemistry or the kind of work that we do together, it's always about enhancing what she has. Of course, we try and top that up every time, and the Met was an amazing space to do that. So her skin and everything was like, it was intentionally kept looking very almost like a Disney princess, but obviously we needed to bring some color, so that was done on her mouth and her cheeks and stuff. So I think we started from the trial onwards, and then between Alia and I, we exchanged some sort of looks. We spoke about what we wanted to highlight, and then we also did a little bit of a trial, and then obviously we knew that, okay, this is the pathway that we wanted to take, and then on the actual day we kind of just pumped it all up. And I mean, really speaking, it's a collaboration of sort, right? So once the hair comes in with all the beautiful curls that Amit did, and then the jewelry and the clothes and all that, and then like I'm also somebody, and I think Amit is also the same person, we kind of create a sort of a base, and then we keep going back and perfecting and trying to tweaking the thing to make sure that the end result is something that at that point of time is the best that can be done.
How many hours before the red carpet do you start the process of getting ready?
For something like this, 3 hours.
Yeah,
3 hours.
because the costume will take a little bit more time, the jewelry will take some time, and also you need to give a little bit buffer
For mishaps or anything.
For anything that might,
for something like this, you don't want to rush, So it's just, you keep a little extra time. We take our own sweet time to get ready, have a little nashta, have a little coffee, and all of those things.
But part of that is, again, most people don't have 3 hours to get ready. Even if people are getting ready for a wedding or an event, the average person doesn't have 3 hours. But this is quite literally your job and her job to look amazing on that red carpet. So is it realistic for people to emulate these looks in reality?
Of course, it was only for the Met Gala that was 3 hours. We don't take 3
Usually
hours.
we take an hour max.
Okay.
Hair
An hour-
and makeup
hair,
together.
makeup, outfit, everything.
Yeah, we
And
work together.
We're more or less given an hour to get ready fully.
Yeah.
But because it was the Met Gala, we went all the way just to do the gala, and
And
we
it's
had
New
all our
York,
sleep
yeah.
time. So we were like, okay, well, let's just enjoy this process. What's the point of hurrying everything, no? So we
Yeah.
woke up, took our sweet time. We got like 4 hours. We got ready, all of that.
You
I
both.
mean, even for a bride,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt, but she also will give a little bit like more time than she would give to herself when she's going for a party.
Yeah.
Right.
See, because you have to always keep a buffer. You always have to keep some space for, something. Maybe you want to change something. Maybe something is not working out.
Yeah.
So you have to assume the worst to come to perfection. So
But, for a look like that, or for any other event look, how different are the parameters that you're working with compared to film? Because film, as you mentioned, is a high pressure environment. It is long hours. You are working to somebody else's vision. So actually, you're taking into mind the director's vision and their brief, but your client's vision and their brief, and trying to bring that to life. So how different are the stakes there?
I feel like it's a blend of everybody's vision and brief in all our jobs. Whether it's a film, whether it's a carpet, whether it's a wedding, we are always discussing with the client, with the director, with whoever is creatively directing the shoot. We are always discussing, and then it's something that we all
Come together.
come together collectively. Even when we're doing this film, it's like we discuss it with the director. He tells us what is his vision of the scene and how he is visualizing Alia or whoever. And then it's our job to see what she's wearing, what's the environment, what's going to be the most appropriate hair for this, and what's not going to be too much, what's not going to be too less. So it's all of us deciding, and then we discussing with Alia, and they're like, okay, this is amazing, blah blah blah. So it's always like a collective decision. It's never
what's the
like
lighting for a makeup
Lighting.
artist?
lighting, very very important. What kind
I'm
of lighting
always
are they
looking at
into?
lighting.
Because very important. Some things can be, some things will look amazing in a particular lighting. But if you change the lighting slightly, it's not going to look the same. It's going to look very, very different.
Yeah.
Do you think, both of you separately, do you think that the importance of storytelling
I
in
was just going to
Bollywood
say, yeah.
do you think the importance that's paid to hair and makeup has changed the importance put towards storytelling, Puneet?
Are you? Is the question that has it changed from over the years?
Because I feel like today there is so much emphasis on the look, and the look is quite often the main thing that people talk about. Whereas before, the storyline, the characters, the songs, the music,
Yeah.
they were where the priority was at. And now it seems like it's become such an aesthetic industry. It's become such a focus on the aesthetics of everything.
Yeah.
And that's where everybody is paying their attention.
I think it's also because of the exposure that people have. One, you are also looking at very young actors now. These actors have their own standards of beauty and their own expression of how they would like to appear. You have young audiences who are looking up to them to be inspired, to actually take something away from their personal style. Maybe it resonates. The personal style could be edgy. It could be a girl next door. It could be each actor is expresses themselves differently, right? So I think what has happened is that because of that, there is a lot more importance given to how this person is appearing within the confines of a movie as well. Of course, hair, makeup, wardrobe they're essential tools for storytelling, right? So we are creating a character based on the brief that is given by the director. We're also taking into account the talent that is sitting in the chair, what works for them, what doesn't work for them. And eventually we are creating something that resonates with this person. For example, for me, Alia, if she's playing a young girl, I need to make sure that the makeup reflects the
youth.
But
right?
what I mean is that sometimes I think people are only looking at Alia's photos from an event or in a magazine shoot compared to actually caring about what's happening in the movies. And not necessarily with Alia specifically, but generally with Bollywood stars. The social media image of hair,
It's also
makeup,
very
wardrobe.
often
Because
right? So
yeah.
they're seeing pictures every week. Let's just not say every
Movie
day,
comes out
but
once in a year or
once a
someday
year,
or something.
Like
once in one
the
and a half
Ambani
year.
wedding, most of the stars that were at the Ambani wedding,
That was the Met Gala.
that was the Met Gala. That was the Met Gala. And then there was the NMACC opening the year before that, which was
Yeah.
also the Met
Yeah.
Gala.
Yeah.
But more people were interested. Well, people were more interested in the stars at the Ambani wedding than they are in their movies, for
Yes,
example.
of course. See, because also to be fair, our movies are really quite simplistic in their
When it comes to looks and
when it comes
aesthetics,
to
and
looks,
it's
right?
not always.
Do you wish there was more experimenting in movies?
No, there are, but
There are,
not
we get to do.
Yeah,
Like
we
we
get to
are
do.
doing.
There are, but not so many. Yes, and also the frequency of movies coming out is way lesser, and people are, how audiences like to be connected to their stars or to the people they follow. So when they're connected, they're always looking out for what's the next look, and their events and their everyday things. They're always serving looks. So it's like that's why they have more accessibility and more importance to the everyday looks or the normal looks when they're getting ready as compared to the films that we're doing. Because
Also, to be fair, we can only speak about the people that we worked
course,
with.
of course.
There are a lot of actors who are doing a lot of different roles. They're doing a lot of character sort of depiction and stuff. And I mean, I haven't worked with them, but I watch a lot of movies which are multifaceted and have very many different character depiction. But for us, I mean, Alia is a young person, right? So I think the only opportunity that I got to maybe age her slightly was in Gangubai.
Right.
Yeah, so
I mean, one of the other criticisms, not of your clients, but generally of Hindi cinema right now, is that young stars are overexposed. That because of social media, we see
Yeah.
too much of them, and also that they're all trying to look the same. The aesthetic, the Bollywood aspiration, the aesthetic has become the same. How do you two feel about that?
I feel like it's heavily influenced by the Kardashians and the Hailey Bieber and all of these girls who are like setting trends when it comes to makeup and all. I mean, I think a lot of our younger girls are influenced by that sort of aesthetic because it's also less is more sort of, but it is actually a lot, but it looks like it's less and more, and it's cool.
I think they are also their fans, no? In a
Exactly,
way.
they are also their fans, so they're
So
trying
it's
to
like that,
move
yeah.
into
They're
that
also young
direction, and
girls,
it's
right?
But do you think that's meaning that Bollywood is losing its uniqueness? Like, or that because the uniqueness in Bollywood was that it had its own distinct style, right? And if Bollywood is trying to emulate what the Kardashians are doing, where is the originality from here? You've done that. You have very much done that with your no makeup look with Alia. You have very much created a new trend that comes originally from Hindi cinema or from this industry. But there are a lot of people who, like you said, are trying to emulate that look.
I feel like a lot of younger people know when they look at our celebrities following these kind of trends, and even if they are beautiful and if they have features, they somehow are not able to look at them. They're just trying to copy paste the whole thing, which is a little sad. But I feel like younger people should look at how they look and just do what's needed for them. Even for hair, I feel like a lot of people, India is full of people with thick, curly, beautiful, luscious hair. India's hair quality is the best in the world.
I didn't get it.
After Brazilian hair, Indian hair is the best in the world. But here, I don't see many people embracing their hair texture, and they are all wanting to straighten their hair out and not have those curls and beautiful textures. They don't know how to embrace it, and also it's easier for them to just pick up a flat iron and make it straight, just like another Hollywood celebrity.
Finally, then, both of you have exceeded in your respective fields, but what I really respect is how you've turned that into a viable business outside of cinema, outside of movies. Amit, how does having a hair academy like this allow you longevity in your career? That means you don't have to rely on Bollywood going forward.
I mean, my intention is not to not rely on Bollywood, but my intention to have my own school was because I saw like I said earlier, this overwhelming response from kids from all around the country and even outside Bangladesh, Pakistan, wanting to learn and wanting to do what I am doing.
You had students from the UK as well.
Exactly, wanting to do, even from the US, and wanting to do what I do and how I do and what I've made out of my life and career. That really pushed me to allow a lot of those people to learn from me, come to my academy and learn from me, because I also want to see the next generation of younger hair artists doing amazing work in India. So that was probably the reason.
and you both inspire so many. So Amit and Puneet, thank you so much
Thank
for
you so much,
having
Amit.
me here for this
Thank you so
conversation.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.